Welcome back to Bullet Catcher Gaming. This is, of course, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Now, obviously, with the final patch that just came in, and obviously news that Ubisoft have finished everything in Breakpoint and we will not be getting any new future content. That came as sad news to a lot of people, including myself. But there is information out there that we thought we would go through that you might find interesting. Before I do that, we have a Discord. Link is in the description below. I'd also like to thank all of our new subscribers and anyone who follows the channel. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. And thank you to everybody on the last couple of videos who found out it was my birthday and sent me all those birthday wishes. Thank you so much. Really, really, really do appreciate it. Thank you guys and girls. So let's not dally about here. Let's just get straight into it. So there is information out there, and some of this information was shared with me on the Discord by Mark Whiteledge. So nice job, Mark. And then I've done a bit more digging. So there was a rumor from a couple of months back. And all it said was that they believed that Ubisoft Paris were making a new game. They had no idea what it was, but there was a mild rumor that it could be Ghost Recon related, and it was a first-person shooter. I hope it isn't, if this does turn out to be Ghost Recon, because I think it needs to be third-person with a FPS element added into it so you can switch between the two. Don't cut one off of the other. I think they will alienate a lot of players who have really got into Wildlands and Breakpoint specifically as their Ghost Recon experience. But anyway, I digress. So let's move a little bit further with the information. So back in September of 2021, a gentleman by the name of Pavel Jundik, hopefully I haven't butchered his name, he was responsible for basically leaking a list of games or markers as such for what was effectively a database leak. Now, this was to do with NVIDIA GeForce Now. Now, it included speculative titles. Now, one of the speculative titles, there was actually four. There were four Ubisoft speculative titles. Now, that was also in the previous leak from a few months ago, about four unreleased titles that were currently in development. One of them was Project Meteor by Ubisoft Sofia. There was Project Q, which just said by Ubisoft. Project Over by Ubisoft Paris. And Project Orlando by Ubisoft Ivory Tower. Now, when he shared this list, there were other games on there too from other developers. It wasn't just Ubisoft. But when he shared this list on online, he was actually sent a DMCA to take it down by Ubisoft. Now, obviously, I can totally understand that if they're working on things that, they have a media machine which works and they want to build hype for games and things. And I do get that, if a game leaks online completely before they've got to show it, it can take a lot of the shine off of, like a first trailer and things like that. I do understand it. But obviously, with the death of Breakpoint, we're desperate for news of a new game. Obviously, I don't include Frontline in this at all. It's just, that's why I truly hope if they're making that first person, the new Ghost Recon PvE, which I would imagine this is, I truly hope it's not first person only. I think that'd be a terrible mistake. So effectively, this is the information that we got. So we have that. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, that's not a lot. Well, no, it isn't. But now we have another story, which is effectively from Kotaku. Now, depending on what you think of Kotaku, some people like Kotaku, some people do not. They have been reliable in the past with certain leaks and things like that. So obviously what they did is Kotaku have just put up something where they have gone through wrapping up about Breakpoint, the same kind of news that we brought out. But they added to that. They said the next Ghost Recon, codenamed Over, and they mentioned about the original leak from NVIDIA, has been in development for over a year and could arrive as early as fiscal year 2023, sources tell Kotaku. So they're saying that they have some sources here. Now, out of those 4 titles that I just mentioned, they have specifically mentioned codename Over is the Ghost Recon one. Now, obviously, the NVIDIA leak didn't mention anything to do with that. It didn't know which ones it was. So I'm presuming then that Kotaku have further sources that know specifically that Over is the codename for the new Ghost Recon game. Instead of obviously teasing that project as part of the series of the 20th anniversary last year, Kotaku go on to say Ubisoft kind of revealed development of Ghost Recon Frontline, obviously the free-to-play live service shooter, deeply reminiscent of like Warzone. And they go on to say that fans were less enthusiastic, as we know, and following negative feedback and from an internal playtest earlier this year, Kotaku understands the project to be undergoing a reset and is unlikely to launch anytime soon. I mean, I don't know about what you guys think, but if Project Over is the next PvE Ghost Recon, and it is a third-person open world kind of game, which I think the majority of us do want that. I mean, I do understand the reasons why some people don't, but I think the majority that they like this format and would like to stick to it. I don't know why they couldn't do a bit like with Call of Duty and add Frontline, change that over to third person with a FPS element that you can switch between the two if you want to, and make that part of the PvE for that game, like Warzone does with Call of Duty, attaches itself to those titles. I don't know why they don't do that. But Kotaku obviously carries on and saying it's been an uphill climb for Ghost Recon. Obviously, Breakpoint was panned by fans and failed to meet sales expectations when it released back in 2019. In part to the loot grind survival mechanics that diluted the tactical shooter experience. Well, I don't think we minded the survival mechanics. It was how they were implemented. We were made out to be seen that it was much more of a survival game than it was. And I never understood the loot grind. It didn't make sense in this game. I think we've covered that plenty. And obviously, they have tried to overhaul it and all the rest of it, trying to win back fans. Just give us a Wildlands experience, which has just been improved on. I've said this before. But obviously, they also go on to say about the fact that they really did get hammered in regards to the NFTs. We did a podcast about that. And it's, that did not go down well, did it at all? But there we go. So they are basically saying that because of Quartz and things like that being attached to Breakpoint and what went on with Breakpoint initially, and this strategic innovations lab that Ubisoft set up to attach the Quartz and the NFTs, they just wanted to get rid of Breakpoint as fast as possible and want to get going with this next game. So that's pretty much all we have, but they are saying, obviously, rumours. Now, they did reach out to Ubisoft. This is Kotaku did. And Ubisoft responded, we won't be commenting on rumours. But personally, I think it is starting to all add up. It is starting to make sense. We've got now 2 different sources here that have connected these things. And we now know that Over, they're saying their sources are saying it's Ghost Recon. What do you think? And they're saying 2023. So looking where Breakpoint is ending now kind of makes sense. Makes, don't waste resources on Breakpoint and let's get going with the next game. What would you want to see as the community right now? What do you want to see? What do you want to see in this next Ghost Recon game? Would you be happy if it was just an FPS experience? Would you prefer the both? Do you like the open world Wildlands Breakpoint aesthetic, or do you want to go back to linear missions with, whether it be FPS linear missions or third-person linear missions? What kind of thing do you want? What are you looking for in the next game? Let us know in the comments below, and we will discuss. We've got loads more content coming, so keep an eye out. Once again, thank you everyone for supporting the channel. I do massively appreciate it. Take care, and I will see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.